How must it feel after dedicating years of your life to a marriage, only to feel increasingly sidelined as your spouse's attention gravitates towards someone else? Oh, and that someone is also their wife. It sounds frustrating, right? But that's exactly what happened on Sister Wives. What was supposed to be a show representing a healthy polygamous dynamic turned into years of chaos, which continued even after 3 of Kody Brown's 4 wives left him. While there were many issues within the family, Kody's glaring favoritism toward Robyn was one of the main sources of conflict. It was a sigh of relief for fans to see his first 3 wives finally leave the toxic dynamic and call out Kody's behavior. For years I thought Kody only wanted to be in a relationship with Robyn. That's where he put all his time and energy. Not only has he claimed to have only loved her, but he's now hinted he may be interested in maintaining their unintentionally monogamous dynamic, even though Robyn is struggling. But just because his eye isn't wandering doesn't mean his attention isn't on someone else, or, more accurately, himself. I have long called out Kody's narcissistic behavior, and there's been no indication that his self-centered actions have changed. Robyn has even admitted she feels burdened now that she's the only wife left dealing with Kody. Which raises a larger question: is their love even genuine? Or is his professed love really about control and validation? If Robyn were to follow in the footsteps of her former sister wives, it's likely Kody would cast her as the villain, repeating the very same patterns he showed when his other marriages broke down. If that's the case, then Kody's so-called affection for Robyn may be just as self-serving as his hair care routine. Kody seemed head over heels for Robyn when they first started courting in 2010. But there's a difference between love and infatuation, and when I look at the details of their relationship, I think Kody was feeling the latter. He compared his feelings for Robyn as a teenager experiencing love for the first time. Kody already had 3 wives when he met Robyn, so it's surprising to me, and frankly offensive to his other wives, that he now suggests he never had feelings for them. Robyn represented something new and exciting, a shake-up to the routine he had settled into with Meri, Janelle, and Christine. By the time he married Robyn, he'd been in plural marriage for nearly 2 decades. Kody and Meri legally married in 1990, and they welcomed Janelle in 1993 and Christine in 1994 via spiritual marriage. Those early marriages seemed focused on building a plural family. All the wives came from polygamous backgrounds. When Robyn came along, the Browns hadn't been actively looking to expand the family. In 2014, Kody went to great lengths to legally marry Robyn, something he never did for Janelle or Christine. Kody reasoned that he wanted to legally adopt Robyn's children from a previous marriage, but doing so meant he had to divorce Meri. On the surface, this could look like a grand, romantic gesture. But it was also practical, and possibly strategic. By legally marrying Robyn, Kody gave his favorite wife a level of legitimacy and security that the others never had, while reinforcing his role as the patriarch. From the beginning I thought, Kody's preferential treatment toward Robyn was obvious, and it only became more apparent as the seasons went on. Take the wedding rings, for example. Kody wore the same ring Meri gave him for years, even after spiritually marrying Janelle and Christine. When he began courting Robyn, he insisted on melting that ring down. He then had his wife's design, and pay for, a new Claddagh ring that he started wearing after marrying Robyn. Later, in 2022, viewers noticed Kody wearing yet another new ring, one that was apparently gifted by Robyn, while filming season 18. This came after both Christine and Janelle had left the family, but Kody remained spiritually committed to Meri. For him to switch rings again, replacing one that symbolized his plural family with one representing only Robyn, was another slap in the face. Meri confronted him about it on camera, but he refused to give her a real answer. Unsurprisingly, Meri announced she was leaving him a few months later in early 2023. Was Robyn Kody's favorite because of love? Probably not. For me, there are countless examples of Kody putting his favoritism for Robyn on display. He hired her a nanny, a luxury he didn't offer to his other wives. He convinced the family to help finance her large, new home while the others were still struggling to secure stable housing. Once Robyn was in the picture, it was like he forgot about the rest of the family entirely. It's also extended to the kids. Several of Kody's children with Christine, Janelle, and Mary have said they barely see him and they don't have much of a relationship. Meanwhile, Robyn's children, both from her previous marriage and her kids with Kody, appear to have a much closer bond with him. But all of this isn't necessarily proof of love. If anything, it points to Kody's self-centeredness. He tends to focus his energy where it benefits him the most, or where he feels most respected. It's likely to have been easier for him to bond with Robyn's kids because he's still on good terms with Robyn, whereas his strained relationships with his other, now ex-wives have made it harder for him to connect with their kids. And, as his adult children have become more outspoken, it's likely worsened their strained relationship with Kody. It's based on loyalty and admiration. He uses it like a reward to give to those he sees as worthy. He constantly compared Robyn's behavior to the disrespect and betrayal he claims to have experienced from his other wives. But those women spent nearly 30 years living with Kody, they knew his flaws and weren't afraid to challenge him. But the more they did this, the more Kody seems to have focused on Robyn, putting those marriages to the wayside. Robyn came into the family wearing rose-colored glasses. Everything was fresh, and she and Kody were in the honeymoon phase, whereas that period was long gone for his other relationships. Robyn admitted she was looking for security after leaving an abusive marriage, and she wanted the support and protection of a plural family. In hindsight, it seems to me she may have been more in love with what Kody represented than who he really was. And the same might be said for Kody. He loved how Robyn stroked his ego and reinforced the behavior he wanted to see in his other wives. Robyn has always been the least vocal and the least critical. She's more deferential, which may explain why she's remained in Kody's good graces for so long. Kody, to put it nicely, reacts poorly to being challenged. He likely assumed bringing in a fourth wife would realign the family dynamic and re-establish his dominance. But when the other wives didn't fall in line the way Robyn did, he directed all his positive energy toward her instead, which was likely the start of the end for his first 3 marriages. While Kody never formally ended any of his marriages, he definitely withdrew emotionally. He told Mary he no longer had interest in intimacy with her. He constantly criticized his wives and pointed out their shortcomings. And after each separation, he painted himself as the victim. When Christine left, Kody accused her of betrayal. It was blatant gaslighting. He was projecting behaviors onto her that he had exhibited himself for years. Christine, Janelle, and Mary were routinely sidelined as Kody prioritized Robyn and her children. But when those wives decided to leave, he couldn't own up to his behavior. So far, Robyn has remained on her pedestal. But now that she's admitted to struggling without the support of her sister wives, there's a chance Kody's affection may start to fade, just like it did in his other marriages. And if he's not willing to be there for her during hard times, then what does that say about the love he claims to have for her? With that being said, the now monogamous Robyn and Kody just bought a new $1 million property. There are also rumors of a possible spin-off as Sister Wives nears its 20th season. Whether Kody and Robyn stay together or not, there's one thing that I'm sure about: the drama isn't going anywhere, and neither are we. Kody represented protection and stability for Robyn. Robyn represented security and validation for Kody. He loved how she made him feel, especially in contrast to his other wives. When she came along, she admired and supported him, and perhaps most importantly, she didn't challenge him. I think this is why he threw himself into their relationship so quickly, and enthusiastically, and established a pattern of favoritism early on. And it also explains why the couple seem to be having issues now, over a decade into their marriage, as Robyn is no longer living with the same rose-colored glasses, maybe ones that are just slightly tinted. Narcissistic relationships tend to follow a pattern. The first stage is idealization, where the narcissist puts their partner on a pedestal. This period is often filled with love bombing, intense praise, and quick emotional escalation, which parallels Kody's early treatment of Robyn. The second stage is devaluation. Once the partner shows signs of independence, questions the narcissist, or no longer boosts their ego, the affection begins to fade. The narcissist may start to pull away, become critical, and emotionally withdraw. The final stage is to discard, where the narcissist detaches emotionally and rewrites the narrative. They may shift blame onto the other person and cast themselves as the victim. Therapist to analyze the sister wives cast, but maybe they should. Fans have been calling Kody a narcissist for years. While we can't get him an official diagnosis, he does show many of the classic signs: a need for control, lack of empathy, and an inflated sense of self-worth. They say history repeats itself, so it's possible the same cycle could play out with Robyn. Can narcissists truly love someone? According to experts, narcissists tend to equate love with how another person makes them feel about themselves. It's not about emotional intimacy, it's about their ego. This sounds a lot like Kody. Now, that's not to say Kody has NPD. But it seems like both he and Robyn fell in love with what the other represents more than who they truly are.